Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, October 20th, 2025, here for my weekly cross-stitch update. And I have a lot to share, and I'm excited about it. So we can just jump right in. I have, first off, an update of my daughter's piece because she worked on it again on Saturday. So this is a freebie from Shannon Christine Designs. You can find it on her Facebook group or Instagram, and she's got a bunch of them that are like currently fall or Halloween, but if you go back historically, there's Christmas and Valentine's Day and, you know, all the things. So my daughter worked on this a little bit more, so I thought I'd give you an update. We kitted ours up with perforated paper, and she finished the pumpkin and started in on the fur of the kitty cat, which is so cute. She's very excited because we saw this and was like, it's Smokey on the pumpkin. So very nice. And she's actually working on it here and there, so that's good. Hopefully she'll get it done by Halloween. I think she'll enjoy that. And for me, I finished my travel piece, Cats and Hearts November. This is by Kitty and Me Designs. I found these on her Etsy shop, and this is the last one that I had to do. I did a bunch of them, I guess it was last year, and more or less in the month that they were like, I'd do March and March, work on the March one in March, but I got behind because these are kind of big, and sometimes I had less travel time than other seasons. So I ended up, instead of staying behind, I skipped months. So I skipped May and I skipped November, and I went back to them this year. So I finished May earlier in the year. Now I have finished November. So this is, all of these were on 25 count white even weave, 1/1 full cross. Called for DMCs, except I switched out the kitty cat to be DMC 535 instead of 310. And speaking of Smokey, she hears me talking and now she wants in. You can see all the backstitch. The backstitch took me a long time. There's a good amount of it in there with all these vines and all through the leaves and everything around the heart. All of them have the backstitch around the heart. So, but that took me, I finished it on Thursday. So it did take me a good chunk of time to get that done this week. But now it's done, and the whole series is done too, which is exciting. So I'll let Smokey in and I'll be right back. And so now my new travel piece is Roses by It's So Emma. This is one of their Stitchy seed packet series. There's the information for it. And these are all the same size, and they have the same border. And I've been doing a lot of them. I think this is maybe the 6th one I've done, potentially. So I picked out some pinky reds and only got one day on this so far, on Friday. And it looks a little odd. I was telling my kids, it looks a little bit like the bald man on the Operation game. Can you see it? His head, his ear, his like collar of his shirt, the pocket, the placket in the middle. It will be a rose, trust me. But right now it is, it's looking kind of funny. So this is one little session. These are 25 count Lugana in Sand Dollar by Be Stitch Me. 1/1 with fancy flosses from my stash that kind of match the general idea of what's going on, what's called for. I look and see if I have what's called for, but I don't have a lot of, these are classic colorworks. I don't have a lot of them. I have some of them. So if I don't have what they call for, I'll just poke around and see if I can find something that's similar to the picture. Yeah. So that's fun. I'll get to work on that this week more. Then I worked on books of the Bible in the car to and from church on Sunday. This is My Big Toe, and I'm chipping away at this one. Next year, I'll keep working on the seed packet series probably until they're done. They're really great for travel stitching. But after that, rather than pick up another series, what I'm leaning towards now is picking up smaller projects from my WIP list and doing them in the car. Some of them I may only be able to do while I'm waiting for my kids because I sit and wait for a little bit. And I could use Pattern Keeper in those situations, but I also need a grab and go for like doctor's offices and stuff. I'm not going to use my tablet in a situation like that. So I may need to always have something real small like the Seed Packet series on the go, but not necessarily a whole set of things, just maybe one thing that can be a grab and go for appointments. And then for school pickup, I can have slightly larger things and occasionally things that use Pattern Keeper would be okay. For this, I'm hoping to do a temperature piece again this year, where I stitch elements according to the temperatures in the different colors, like the patterns I have in my shop. I'm hoping to make another one. And I traditionally have done that on Sunday to and from church. I've caught up my temperature piece. So this would no longer fit there if I did temperature piece that way. But this would make a great travel piece because I've been stitching it in the car anyways. It's got all the flosses and a beachcomber, which I'll show you in a little bit in my regular stitching, would also be a great one for travel stitching because it's all self-contained with the fancy floss in a little bag, and that would be a good one to do. So things like that I'm going to do in the car next year and see if I can chip away at some more that way. So this is Be Stitch Me 25 count in Through the Stones, 1/1 full cross with the called for silks. And I went ahead and finished the words. So I finished Daniel. It had like part of an E. So I finished the E and the L, and then Hosea and some border. So this coming week, I will work on the greenery here, and there's like a flower right here. So I'll get to do that. I was debating last time, but I did want to go ahead and finish the word. So I went ahead and did another length of brown. I'm now on the second third of the piece. There's 3 like landscape pattern pages, and I finished the top one. Now I'm in the middle one, and then there's one more at the bottom. So I'm over a third finished. Yes, I did work on Cats in the Rain during a call with my sister. I worked on my main piece with my call with my mom, but I did do one chunk of time on Cats in the Rain by Madame Chantilly. This will sometimes be my call stitch with my family. And I did this 217 stitches, and this is now at 28.01%. This is a vintage Stormy Night in 40 count, a linen 1/2 full cross. So I finished the umbrella, and I did the buttons and her hair ties in there in the blue, and then did a length of, I think this is Kitty's eyes, one of the Kitty's eyes in blue also, and then one length of yellow down here in her coat. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I still need to do some raindrops, but the lighting in here was not good on Tuesday. It was super stormy day, so it was really gloomy and dark. It's like, well, I tried counting to them and it just wasn't working. So I will need to find a time, either daylight or brighter light or something, to do those raindrops. Okay, let's see. My daily 30 for the month of October has been a temperature daily 30, and I have my produce charts by Janet Stever, charted by Pain Free Crafts. I have them slotted in with assigned to various digits for temperature stitching. So I got to work on 1, 2, 3, 4 different projects this week for that, and with a half hour each time. The first one that came up was eggplants. Is this plants or plant? Just eggplant. And this one came out on Monday and Sunday. I did, which one is which? 97 stitches on Monday and 98 stitches on Sunday. Now it's at 3.85%. When you count that there's a little bit of really pale background around the edge that I took out. That's counted in that. So here is this one. All of these are on a 28 count white Jobelin, 1/1 full cross. and I counted over to the first little like grass strand stem thing and worked that down, and then I came back and picked some symbols in the border. You can see some light colors over here. So that's fun. Got some progress on that one. I am enjoying these. I might do this again next October. It's kind of fun to have these all out together. And then strawberries came out 3 times, and I think that's the one that's going to come out again today. So that one's really coming out a lot. This is strawberries, and these are all retired, sadly. I picked them up right as they were being retired, and I thought, oh, those are really great. Oh, speaking of that, another Pain-Free Crafts designer is being retired, Nadia Strokina, and so I went and poked around and ended up getting this chart, Unlikely Friends, and it's very cute. My printout could be a little darker, but it's adorable. And I liked that it had very, like the raspberries look like raspberries. It's very crisp and colorful. So I don't know. I don't know when I'll start that, but it's very cute, and I think there'd be something fun to work on at any point in the chart. So maybe, I was thinking maybe when I finish Bear Time Stories, that could be a fun one, because it kind of reminds me of my kids, because my middle son likes golden retrievers, and obviously my daughter likes cats. I don't know if it's obvious to you, but my daughter loves cats. So here's strawberries, and this is also a 28 count white Jovelin, 1/1 full cross. And I worked, I don't know if I did any more in the bud area here, but then I have been working more in the border. So there's a lot of scattered colors. So eventually it'll be solid, but I am picking symbols in the corner and trying to fill them in. So we'll get there. That one got 149 stitches on Tuesday, 64 stitches on Thursday, and 92 on Friday. So now it's at 7.34%, including the marked off edge. This one had the most marked off at the beginning, so that's also why the percentage is the highest. Then I was able to start tomatoes, which is good. This one is the first time it got called. So that's that one. And yeah, I can get to these leaves pretty quickly here, which is nice. This one got 97 stitches. I was able to mark off 7,170 stitches right off the bat to bring it to 5.79% without stitching a thing. That had the second most to mark off than strawberries. They're all slightly different. The edges are not exactly the same on all of them. So strawberries I marked off the most, tomatoes was the second most. And now after 97 stitches, it's at 5.87%, including those marked off stitches. So just a little bit in 3371. That's the color I started on all of them. Is one length of thread, a 2-foot length, and that's how far it got. This one had like a thicker bits of 3371. So it's always interesting how they're all a little bit different, which is nice since I'm doing 6 of them, that I'm not doing the exact same thing in every corner. It is different each time, even though eventually it will look very similar. The process of stitching is different on all of them. And then blueberries came out once on Saturday. So that's this one. And yeah, I could get close to this, I guess, is the first bit of non-border that I can get to on this one. And this got 110 stitches, 3.72%, including that little bit on the outside that I marked off. So this one, I kind of forgot that I was near the leaf, and I went back and picked another strand of the dark brown that was right here. So I filled that in all up here, and then realized, oh yeah, I have leaf I could do. So I pulled a length of thread, only got a little bit done before my half hour ran out. So that's on my needle. Next time this gets called, I'll work on the leaf a little bit more and then come back to the border. But that has a nice structure in the corner there of that border because I did 2 different dark colors. That really helps. So that's been fun. I'm enjoying that. So strawberries is coming out today, and then I don't know what the rest of the week will bring, but those 6, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 were this week. So we also had peaches and bell peppers that didn't come out this week, but maybe next week, we'll see. Or maybe this coming week, I guess is what I should say. So my other ones that were kind of miscellaneous were my gridiron grind piece. And this is a crazy wonderful owl family because it's representing my family and I'm stitching it for a family team. Whenever the Denver Broncos get points in the games, I'm stitching 10 stitches per point. So this week was crazy. I'm stitching this on Picture This Plus Glacier. This is a no background version. If any of you watch football, you probably know this, but I'm sitting there stitching away. I finish out my books of the Bible, no points yet. And then I'm like, well, what else can I work on while I wait for us to get some points? So I pull out a piece for Great British Baking Show, start working on that. No points, no points, no points. I'm like, well, this week will be pretty easy. I can get to all sorts of things, spend a lot of time on autumn montage. We got a record-breaking 4th quarter, 33 points in the 4th quarter to win the game by 1 point. So it was the very dramatic 4th quarter. But a lot of points, a lot of stitches, all at the end. So then I was stitching away furiously into the later afternoon and evening because I couldn't do it during the game because we got them all at the very end. Anyways, but it's good. I got 335 stitches because I had just a little bit left on my needle. I went ahead and kept going to finish out my thread. So here is this one. So it's a 28 count Glacier by Picture This Plus, and it's 1/1 full cross. And so I've been picking symbols in the row right here. So I filled in a lot more of the blue around his eye and some of the orange around his eye, maybe even some over here, a little bit in this eye. And there was a couple stitches right there in the point of his forehead that were dark purple, which ended up over here in Mama Owl too, which is fun. So this is now at 10.83%. So progress is being made. And this is really fun to work on each week along with the game. So I think that was the highest points for the game that we've had so far this year. Last week was the lowest, like 17, and then most of the other weeks were 20 something. So it was doable, but intense because I had to do it all at once at the end. It's kind of, I like it when it's spread out more because then I can do 70 stitches if they get a touchdown, and then have time, you know, to get that 70 stitches in before they potentially make some more points. But yeah, when they do it all rapid fire right at the end, I'm like, I have a lot to make up now. Okay, but it was good. It's a good problem. Let's see. I also did, like I said, a little bit on a Great British Baking Show piece. Haven't done much of this, and I didn't have any time to work on anything until Sunday. I'm like, well, I do have some time. Some of my other regular pieces for the day were not really conducive to stitching in the slightly darker TV room while we're watching shows. So I'm like, well, I'll pull this one out. It's the one associated with the person who was eliminated most recently. And she had some stuff from a previous, I think 2 weeks before actually, that I hadn't done yet. So she needed 4 links. I needed 4 links of floss on this one. In the beginning, it's an old out of print dimensions kit from, I started it in 1999. And I've been working on charting this into my pattern software so that I can have it in Pattern Keeper, because it's not hard to stitch on, but there's a lot of symbols that are the same color. So I think there's like red, blue, black, might be the only 3 colors, and then like all the symbols are in those 3 colors. Some of the symbols are the same, they're just in a different color. If you have lots of blue ones next to each other, it could sometimes be hard to tell at a distance, you know, like which one is which, so you have to kind of focus more. And then there's backstitching all around it, which sometimes it's like, what is underneath the backstitching? You know, so it's a whole thing. So I thought it would be a lot easier if it was in Pattern Keeper. And so I started working on this during the game and off of my paper pattern, because I'm not done charting it, into my software. But I feel like, you know what? The part I'm working on is done in my software. So I'm going to just export what I've got and start working on it. So I ended up, I'm just working on the peacock right now. And so I had that much already finished. And so I was able to use Pattern Keeper to work on this for part of the time. And then we started getting points and I had to put it away on the Broncos game. But I did get a little bit done. I got 2 of the 4 lengths of floss done that I need to for the Great British Baking Show. So this will come out a little bit more. This is on an 18 count antique white Aida 2/1 full cross. And I worked on this like teal color, 2 lengths of floss. So they'll do 2 more, probably that same color in the tail, just to get that color done. I don't know if two lengths will even let me finish all of that in the area, but I will, that's what I'll focus on with the other 2 lengths. Hopefully this week sometime I can get that done. And I have it like, I'm planning to not plot out this part because this part is fully completed and it just would be a waste of my time. But I have like this part charted until like here. And so now I still need to chart out this part and the middle, which is mostly backstitching. So there's a steen down here though. So I still have a good ways to go and I don't have a lot of time to do it. So hopefully eventually I can get this charted and then it can maybe join my stitchy games and stuff to get this finished. Or bring this along in the car, because Aida is nice and easy to work on out and about. Not at appointments, but when I'm waiting for my kids from school. And I could bring my tablet and have some lengths of floss on a card or something and bring that as a travel stitch. That's a possibility for next year too. So I got some Great British Baking Show stitching done, but not very much. And I'm not caught up. But that's okay. Main pieces, I think, is all I have left. So at the beginning of the week, I worked on my gift stitch for the week, which is Beachcomber by Lindy Stitches. And like I was saying, this one would be perfect for travel stitch. It's all in here. I just throw in a pair of scissors, and this is the roll, which I could even tuck in there too. It's a little bigger than the bag, but it could stick out a little bit. That would be almost a grab and go, because I am using the paper on this one so far. So I could maybe even do this one in appointments, but counting from thing to thing is not super easy. Once I'm in a thing, it's easy. So I don't know. We'll see if this ends up being a doctor appointment piece or not. Orthodontist appointments. Those are probably the most common things I'll be having in the next few months for my kids. So this one. Didn't get a lot done, but I think the second day I didn't do hardly anything. But the first day I did 2 or 3 lengths of floss there in the white. This is 40 count raw linen from Zweigart, and it's 1/2. With fancy floss, it's close to what's called for. So I'm filling in the background here of the text box, and I do think I like it better than without. It makes the words a little crisper, and yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'll keep going with that. And this one I might pull out as well for calls with my friends. So if I have a friend call, I might pull this one out because the back and forth in the white should be pretty easy to do while chatting, but I can't work on it with my mom or my sister because it's a secret still. But I could work on it with friends. So that might be something I pull out more recently to get, or more like, yeah, to get more work on it right away. Before it won't have to wait till next month's rotation to possibly get some more time. So that'll be good. And then I worked on Blackwork Flower with Butterflies by Leslie Tier. I got this on her website, and this is on my WIPGO board, which is things I'd like to finish. Focus for a finished piece. This is the last time it was called. I really was hoping to get it done. Didn't quite get it done on Wednesday and Thursday, but it was so close that I needed to finish it. So I went back and finished it on Saturday. So this is now done. I used colors from I think they're all Victorian Motto and Petite Treasure Braid, similar to what's called for. So I got it done. And I went back and looked. I started it in November of 2018, so it was almost 7 years old. And here it is. And this is a 28 count light blue even weave by Artiste. You can find it at Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure if they still have it, but that's where I got mine. And it's all, the border is of the Petite Treasure Braid, one strand. Back stitch, the cross stitches are 2 over 2. The fine Blackwork was 1 strand. These outer outlines were 3 strands, including the border, which I did while I was talking to my mom. I worked on that border. These red, dark pink swirls were 2 strands. There was some 1 strand backstitching in there. There's some more metallics in the butterflies. There's French knots, which could be beads, but I just did French knots on these swirls. Lots and lots going on, but it was really fun. This one will probably end up in my finished portfolio, which I have yet to put together. I will be filming a video whenever I have it started. It is not yet started, but so you're not missing it, missing anything yet, but hopefully I'll get that in there. And that's exciting. So I got 2 finishes this week, the Cats and Hearts November and Blackwork Flowers. So woohoo! Then the 2 pieces that I was working on that were, let's just try to get everything on my WIP list touched this year. My Fancy Lady on Friday was Stargazer, which was a casualty of life. We ended up going to a party on Friday, which I assumed we'd be home by like 9. Or leave at 9. We got home like at 10:45. Pretty much, I got 15 minutes on this. So I worked on, when I pulled it up in books, and I had done some of the beading last time once it was in books and I had the beads marked off, but like the top half of the pattern is finished, which is great. So I just had a piece, I had or maybe top third. I had a little bit marked off in here, but not any of the stitching. So I had to go in and mark off the stitching that I'd finished. So it'd be easy to figure out where I still needed to go. So I did that in the afternoon, fully expecting that I'd have like at least an hour later on to work on it, but I did not. Had about 15 minutes. So I did 1 length of floss, which even that I had to finish on Saturday to finish my length of floss. But I will love pulling this out next year for 2 days to really sink my teeth in it and make some better progress. So this is a 32 count linen from MCG Textiles. It was white. I double dyed it with denim bit, and all the star beads are finished. I think last time I said all the beads were finished. That's not true. All the star beads in the sky are finished. She has a lot more beads in her dress that are not done, but I have a little bit of all the different types of beads started in her dress so I can kind of see what they look like. But her, like from here up, is completely done with everything. So now I have all the dress left. But I did 1 length of gold right here and filled in over here. And then I have a little bit, I think the next color needed is 1 over here. And I'll just take it kind of typewriter-y, sort of, which is the next highest chunk. It's not really a 10 by 10 symbol choosing with Mirabilias. It's more like, what's the next highest chunk? And then I'll do a strand of that color and then next highest chunk and work down that way. So sometimes also in Mirabilias, rather than next highest chunk, I will do like next highest chunk within a section. So like within the coat, if I'll do all the different shades of burgundy, or if I'm interested in doing the ribbons, I'll do all the different shades of gold, you know. So it might depend on what I'm in the mood for, how much time I have. what sorts of things I focus on, but that's kind of how I'll do my Mirabilias. So just a little bit on Stargazer, but hopefully more next year. And I'm also hoping to do, I think I'm going to do a Mirabilia March, not May, because I can't remember 100% what my plans were, but next year I'm planning to have daily 30 things all month, all year long. Different months will be different themes or different, like if there's a bingo game in the magazine monthly, that'll be mostly my daily 30, but I'll do full coverage in February, and I'm thinking of doing Mirabilias in May. So that one will most likely come out as one of 10 Mirabilias that I can put in my temperature daily 30 rotation. So that will be fun to get that some attention next year. I have more than 10 Mirabilias, so I can either have 10 the first half of the month and switch out a different 10 the second half of the month, or when something's been called twice, then I'll switch that one out for another one so that everything gets a little bit of attention. That's an idea. So we'll see. I can't remember how many I have, but more than 10. And then my full coverage, that is something I just wanted, to get attention, is Norwegian Ship Under Sail, the small version by Golden Kite. And I am up in the clouds, like right around, I think it was this bit right here. So a lot of I was picking symbols right here, but they kind of followed the cloud down. So I'm still picking symbols in the same general area because I did a lot of stitching, but it was all down in the lower strips of 10 by 10 blocks before I came up and did another color that ended up dipping down. Finally, I picked some colors that were right along the top. So it's progress. So I got a good amount done. This is a half stitch project, so it went pretty fast, and they're swaths of color up in the sky. So, and I could have maybe done more on Stargazer if I'd realized how much time I had available, but once you get started on something, you don't necessarily, I wanted to make sure to get to this, and then I ended up having a good amount of time. So it's like, well, that was good. This project got 629 half stitches, and it is now 6.42%. Still a long way to go, but pretty happy with that. Picking symbols right around here, I think, and then kind of filling them in along here, and then I eventually got some in here too. So they're all very similar shades. They're mostly blends. I think one of them was a regular one color symbol, but that's fun. Again, more time will be great on this one. So I am really looking forward to having a 2-day rotation on everything next year. I prefer 2-day rotations, but this year I knew I didn't have time for 2-day rotations because my WIPGO board was giving everything 4 days each month, which really monopolizes a lot of days in the month. So I'm not doing WIPGO this coming year so that I can give everything 2 days, which will spread my attentions across more things, less progress on more things. But I'm hoping with like the temperature bonus things throughout the month, I'll still be able to chip away at some finishes and, spread the attention even a little bit more. So I'll probably do less focusing next year and more flitting. But it'll be good. I like to flit around on all of my projects. So let's see. Oh yeah, autumn montage. I did pull that out for just a little bit yesterday, right at the end of the day. Very little progress. Oh yeah, I did 629 on Norwegian Ship, but I wanted to finish my length of thread, so 48 stitches the following day. So it's actually at 6.46% and 677 total stitches, half stitches. Montage, all these montages are full crosses, and as is the wonderful owl family and some of those. So it is a slightly longer process to do a full cross. So 49 stitches, not a lot, but it's a color that shows up, so maybe it's even better than before. So this is now at 3.43%. And this is a 28 count mushroom Lugana 1/1 full cross. So I did this this color that's coming out here, it was in I think that branch, and then it was like scattered throughout and ended up heading over this branch and kind of, well, I'll just keep going until my thread runs out. A lot of counting, so not as much numbers on this one, but it's progress. And I'm hoping maybe if the Broncos can spread their points out a little better and get those points stitched during the game, I can work on this a little bit more this coming Sunday. So we'll see. Because that'll be my last Sunday, I think. Yeah, there's one more Sunday on Autumn Montage. So my main projects this week, I'll continue to work on my Temperature Daily 30 with all the produce patterns, which is fun, the Janice Deaver ones. My gift stitch for this week is Bear Time Stories. So it'll be nice to get back to that one. This is the next one that I want done of all of the, well, I can't remember which one might be first, my mom's or this one, but my mom's is a lot less to do. This one is Heaven and Earth Designs. It's the mini artwork by Randall Spangler. And if I end up doing Beachcomber as a travel stitch, this one might get 2 3-day rotations every month next year. So it'll get 6 days a month, which would be good because I need to get this done. And then when this is done, I can give Lollipop an extra 3 days kind of thing. Or instead of giving this one 2, I think want to make something for my pastor's wife. So I might sub in that for a gift stitch if I do take out Beachcomber. So this is my starting point. On this one, this is 40 count Verdal 1/1 half cross, and it's this is the whole design. I sometimes do extreme cross country. Sometimes I pick a color in an area. I have done a few different things, and right now I was focusing on his head to get all the stitches done in the bear's head. So that's looking a little more filled out than it used to. So I'll give this 2 days this week. Hopefully some good progress on that one. And then my next Whip Go piece for October, which I'll work on Wednesday and Thursday, both this week and next week, is Cupcake Dreams. This one's subbed in for something else that I finished because I want to get this done. This is by Tilton Crafts. It was a former freebie. Now you can find it as part of a larger chart with lots of cupcakes. This is on a mint, that shows pretty good, a mint green Jubilee even weave, 1/1 full cross. And that's my starting point. I have some light pink on my needle. I am color completing this one. There is a little bit more scattered stitches at the tops of these strawberries in the lighter bits of the frosting, in this strawberry, and then throughout this wrapper. So, and it's on my Whip Go board another time too. So I have 4 days this month and then 4 days another month, either November or December, that are earmarked for this one as my main stitch for the day. And I could also, I don't know exactly what my bonus stitching will look like in November and December, but it could also poke in there to make sure it gets done this week or this year. So that's that one. And then the 2 pieces I want to pick up to make sure things get touched this year. My fancy lady will be Cottage Garden Fairy. This seemed kind of autumnal. So this is a Mirabilia. I don't have very much done on this at all, so it definitely needs some time. Hopefully this Friday I will be home more and I can work on this a little bit. So this is a Dappled Hollow by Under the Sea Fabrics, I believe. Yes. And it's a 32 count Lugana. I'm doing it 2/2, full cross. And I started in the middle, worked my way to the top, did her face, and now I kind of went around the top of her wing. So I like to work from the top down. Yeah, so that's around the edge of this wing. So we'll see what I get to. Probably work on wings this time. So super pretty fabric. I thought Dappled Hollow was a fun name too to think about for a little fairy. So that's fun. And then the full coverage that I'm planning to work on, all the full coverages this month just ended up being Golden Kites. This one will be La Soiree. Don't believe I've worked on this yet this calendar year. This is the medium version, and I'm also cropping off a page of background at the top and a page of background at the side. So it's just the girls in their scene. This is on a 24 count Congress cloth, like I'm doing End of the Ball, 2/1 full cross. And with the lighter colors on this one, I really need something behind it right now. So that's that one. 2/1 half cross. This is the start of the first girl's head. This part is all done. So is there any empty stitches in the, yeah, I think there's still some empty symbols in here. So I'll probably pick symbols up here and work on that. I may put a length of floss into her head too. We'll see. We'll see if I can resist or if I just stick with background. You can see some of the background stitches ended up coming all the way over here at some point because they were ones that were in this section and they're also up there. So we'll see where I end up doing. That's only going to get one day, but it will be something. Something is better than nothing. And then again, hopefully I'll have some time on Sunday to do autumn montage after my gridiron grind and temperature 30 pieces are finished. So that's the plan for this week. And it's good. It's fun. So Smokey joined me. Yeah. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Enjoy what you're working on and happy stitching. Bye.